delegation. The kind of presentations I've seen today, I kept on asking myself, should I start rewriting my papers? Especially when my very senior colleague, I underline the word very, and the president, the immediate past president of the IOD, where I'm an honorary member, Architect T.C. Awagu, got on the stage, everything just got finished. He took everything to, scattered it. Let me also say that the delegation from Delta State does not seem to be a typical government delegation. I don't think the private sector can really do better than what you have done. And I'm not talking of you reading from the books, just reading what you are doing and what you want to do. It's a new awakening in Nigeria. I want to compliment the governor for what he has done. Now to the protocols. I don't know the other protocol between the ambassador and the governor. I'm an engineer first and foremost. The governor. So, but I want to recognize the presence of Ambassador Abu, sorry sir, Baba Abu, representing Professor Adefuye, the ambassador of Nigeria to the United States of America. Also Dr. Festus Okoro, representing Dr. Uduaga, the executive governor of Delta State. I will say let all protocols remain as previously put in place. Now, I had done a preparation that is meant to be done, presented by through PowerPoint. But when I see the way the screen is behind me, I'm sure I'm going to be chasing you. Yes, please. I'm going to be chasing you because I'm not going to be able to see what is on the screen. The title of what I have presented is that the Nigerian investment environment, opportunities and challenges. So you can imagine that the opportunities that you just forget about it, Dr. Awagu has already taken care of it. So I'm going to try and look at, run through it, and then probably concentrate some attention on these challenges. And then I will quickly go ahead to make a case for why we should have a Nigerian investment summit group that will be standing, that will continue to continuously create awareness on the need to be investment in Nigeria. But why they are getting that across? I want to talk about, my style is going to be a bit different because I'm going to be less academic. I'm going to try and make it a bit more conversational. There is a club, or there is a young man called Van Persie, who, when he was being sold by his coach to Man U from Arsenal, I was shocked when I learned that the coach told the coach of Man U that what I'm selling to you is better than what you think you are buying. He said, look, I'm giving you a product that is so good, you don't know what you are paying for. That's the 29-year-old they have been sold for £24 million turnover, right? And lo and behold, in the season that the first season he spent in Man U, he actually proved as a Wenger grad. What am I saying? Well, what I'm saying basically is that whatever we say about Nigeria today is an understatement about the potentials. So there is no way we can actually capture. I've looked at the theories. We've been talking of GDP growth of 6.5, 7.5. Nothing is happening in the real sector. It's just starting. Absolutely. By the time you put in the real sector, industries spring up, you'll be shocked at all the mineral resources are being exploited. You'll be talking of 15, 16%. So the potentials are so enormous that we are just understating the facts. Delta State has been doing a lot of job because it decided that there is data beyond oil. Just as there is Lagos beyond allocation, and that's what Governor Fashola has shown us. And if each state picks it up, you can see the potential. And then when the investors come in, it's going to be very, very, very formidable. There are a lot of opportunities in Nigeria. but there are also challenges. And so, my paper is going to look at the opportunities very briefly because we have really done justice to itself. But it's going to concentrate a bit more on challenges, but it's going to also tell you why you need to look beyond the challenges and take advantage of the opportunities. Let me quote the Vice Minister of Foreign Trade of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, Simon Smith. He said that the country will double its investment in Nigeria from its current $8 billion euro in the coming years. What did he say? Why does he want to double the investment? That is what, sometimes when I look at Nigeria thinking of going abroad, somebody has put in 8 billion euros. He wants to come back and put 8 more as quickly as possible. That is what we should ask ourselves. I'm going to look at the country profile quickly, the investment opportunities and the challenges. And then I'm going to cite a few case studies. Nigeria attained nationhood in 1914, first nationhood, let me highlight that. It became independent in 1960, it's located in West Africa, in Africa. It has a population of 170,123,740 people. That's July 2012 estimate according to the CIA facts. It has a land area of 923,768 square meters, of which land is 19.6%. It has a coastline of 853 kilometers, and the climate is equatorial in the south, tropical in the center, arid in the north. So we don't have any, we have it all. Of course, there are natural resources, there's crude oil, there's agricultural products, there's cocoa, rubber, cattle, cotton, fish, cassava, palm tree, groundnuts, there's gold, natural gas, iron ore, there's a lot of arable land for agriculture. The literacy level is relatively high. The GDP growth was 7% in 2009, and in 2010, it was 8%, 2011, 7.4%. It's the 13th largest producer of crude oil in the world and 11th highest proven reserves of crude oil in the world. And it has the 10th highest proven reserves of natural gas in the world. Those are the potentials. So, when we talk of investment opportunities we have in oil and gas, I'm not going to details that I said. Architect Awago has done a lot of work on that. But if we invest in refineries, petrochemicals, oil service and pipelines, oil processing and exploitation, gas gathering. Gas gathering is very important. We are not even taking advantage of our gas at all. I am aware that for the past 7 years, there has been on the table a project on gas gathering, which the federal government was championing, which was going to involve a core investor, the states, the federal government, the community where the gas is being gathered. All of them are going to be invested. Even the local government, I don't think it's be able to move beyond the table. But the gas is so important that get it right and probably supply the whole of West Africa, East Africa with gas. There's also opportunity in gas distribution. Even the little we are exploiting, we are not distributing it very well. That's why you have breaking down, you have power land to not being fired because there is shortage of gas. There is manufacturing of consumers. These are opportunities in the oil and gas industry. There is training and consultancy. There are also opportunities in power privatization, power generation plants, manufacturing of power equipment and accessories. With the advent and the recent privatization going on, there are going to be so much opportunities in manufacturing of consumables within the power industries. Cables, conductors, insulators, dropout fuses, all sorts of meters, all sorts of opportunities. Training and consultancy. In the banking industry, there are opportunities for mergers, acquisitions, organic, what we call greenfield entries, and there's also opportunity for training and consultancy. Let me say that one of the biggest challenges that I've seen in Nigeria is the quality of manpower. If we go industrial today, we are going to have a challenge with those who will take charge of those industries. Our technicians, I run an engineering company. My biggest headache every time is when I have to recruit. So as you are recruiting, you are planning a 3-4 year training program to bring them near to what you should get. So there are tremendous opportunities for training in Nigeria. Really serious opportunities that very people are looking at. We are used to the normal management training that everybody is doing, but there are opportunities for training in core tech areas. Also in the banking industry, a lot of banks moved from a 2 billion naira bank to a 100 billion naira bank overnight. We'll see it in what comes out. There's a lot of training to be done there. And there are a lot of companies abroad who have undergone such processes, who one can partner with and do training. So there are opportunities there too. Also in construction, that's my area, and that's what I do for a living. We have houses, hotels, malls. Dr. Wagwa has mentioned some of those opportunities that are coming. There are opportunities to build roads and bridges, dams, rail transport systems. Julius Baga came to Nigeria in the 60s to build the Lagos-Ekpe Bridge road, if I remember very well. Today, they are giants. About 20 years ago, about 30 years ago, when they were building the MM2, Julius Baga was a subcontractor to an electrical engineering company. That company cannot talk near where they are standing. Because Nigeria is a place that has so much opportunities in construction. There are another 20 big companies coming to Nigeria, they won't know what has hit them. So there are opportunities there. When there are other opportunities in the capital market, the capital market that it's done is on the way on the upswing. And like Warren Buffett used to say, the best time to invest in the capital market is when the market is down. So this is the best time to go into the Nigerian capital market and make some money. Industrialization, that's an area also I have a passion for. Because I believe that I was involved in a business forum about 7 years ago. I think President Obasanjo was in power in Abuja. And they were talking glowingly about the GDP growth